Hi, Kate Floss. Kate Floss, citizen fighter for New Zealand, citizen not lawyer. I'm here to let you know about my court cases and how we're trying to bring in our 1688 will of Jesus, the will of the Almighty that was given to us hundreds of years ago when Jesus rose again and came back to the earth in 1688 and left us a will. And it's the will that they're trying to get rid of. So I'll make a video to let you know what's going on with my case. Now, if you just Google in SIXTUS verse ARDERN, okay, and you can put it on there, and if you go down, you'll see all my SIXTUS cases. There's many cases there, but if you go down to SIXTUS verse ARDERN Open Law 1161, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, there's the Sixtus Pope there, that's Pope Sixtus V, and Sixtus verse Jacinda Ardern. The Sixtuses have been battling the Arderns over lands for many hundreds of years. So it seems that we've been called back again, the Sixtuses versus the Arderns. Now go and have a look here. If you go into Sixtus verse ARDERN, a lot of people don't understand my cases, but never mind, you just do your best. So I have some music.
Tell that long-tongued liar, go and tell that midnight rider, tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, telling the God's gonna cut you down, telling the God's gonna cut them down.
So if you see here on the Sixtus verse ARDERN, you know that Kate Floss was trying to ascend the 1688, they call it the 1688 BORNZ, which is the Bill of Rights New Zealand, or the BORNZ. The first law that ever came to New Zealand was the first BORNZ into New Zealand. And I entered the court with the prayer. Now there's 4 prayers, but the main prayer is the second prayer, that we do pray a declaration to the effect clearly stating the applicant's ancient 1688 subject right under Almighty God exists pursuant to S28. So this is what I've done, is I've ascended the Almighty God to the heavenly realm, and this is the first time in a court of law for many years that we've been able to use the word "so help me God," which is all through our ancient legislation. And so help me God, the God has been removed from our parliaments, God's been removed from our courts, and what we've got to do is put God back. So I ascended to the heavenly realm, but I did get struck out, and when I got struck out, it went to over here, section 13, where I had said that there did not need to be there did not need to be consequences for legal interest to come before the court, for legal interest before a court could make a declaration. I'm a little bit nervous, so let me just read that to you again. She relied on the observations of Elias in Attorney General verse Taylor that there did not need to be consequences for legal interest before a court could make a declaration. That means that you didn't actually have to be prosecuting for anything for anyone. You could go to the court and ask them for a declaration under the 1688 will of Jesus that your rights under Almighty God had been violated. And then I did actually say to them that other aspects of the claim was that there are a number of government initiatives which were being introduced in a way that amounted to a psychological waterboarding, which I said to them that they were using law and they were gaslighting us and using law as a means to psychologically waterboard the public, okay? So that's the essence of the case. Now, if you go back up to this SIXTUS versus ARDERN, you're going to see this case here, attorney, so this was in the High Court, and it's the first time that I elevated God into the court. Now we're going to be going to the Attorney General versus Arthur William Taylor, and I'm going to show you how they put the devil all through our courts.
Well, my goodness gracious, let me tell you the news. My head's been wet with the midnight dew. 'Cause I've been down on bended knees, talking to Galilee. He spoke to me with a voice so sweet. I thought I heard the shuffle of the angels. He called my name and my heart stood still. But he said, child, go do my will. Go and tell that long-tongued liar. Go and tell that midnight rider. Tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell him the God's gonna cut him down. Tell him the God's gonna cut him down.
So if you see here, we go to Attorney General versus Arthur Taylor, and this is in the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court is the toppest court, and if you go and have a look here, wait for the name to pop up. There's Attorney General versus Arthur William Taylor. Now, Arthur William Taylor is connected with a man called David Tamahiri, and there's a whole story on those murderers and liars and rapists. Well, he's the man, he's been the conduit to insert all of the devil's law. Now, if you go down here, what you'll see is all of this legislation that has come out since 1990, you'll see they've got the declaratory. Now, if you want to find any of the laws, you just go into here. Here's your Declaratory Judgments Act 1908. Here's your Human Rights Act 1993. There is your New Zealand Bill of Rights Act 1990. Now, I want to tell you that this Bill of Rights is not the BORNZ. This is an NZBORA, B-O-R-A, which is not the same as our B-O-R-N-Z, BORNZ. They're not the same. It's the devil and God. This one here that you're looking at is the devil, and they're trying to get the devil to take over God and put in the final sword to, they're trying to kill Jesus a second time. This is the second killing of Jesus. Jesus rose again. He walked out of the grave and he came back and he left us a will. And they are presently trying to kill the will. That's what they're doing, kill the will. So you've got your Interpretation Act, you've got your Electoral Act, which is also the devil's law. You've got your Judicature Act, you've got your Crimes Act in here, and you've got your Constitution Act. So you know this is all the devil's law. The Constitution Act was the devil's law that removed our 1852 Constitution, which was under Almighty God. They've replaced it with this devil's Constitution 1996 Act. So this has all been put in there. I don't think there's any more. So you'll find that you've got your Constitution Act, your Electoral Act, your Declaratory Judgments Act, you've got your New Zealand Bill of Rights Act, which is the BORA, and you've got your human rights. So all the devil's laws are right in there, okay?
Cause you can run for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. But sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
Now, if you go back up here you're going to see this case here called Smith versus Attorney General. There's Smith versus Attorney General, and you'll see there that is when they brought in the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act, which is not our 1688 BORNZ, okay? So it's brought in under here. That's when they brought it in. And then if you go up here, you will also see Taylor versus Attorney General. Now, Taylor versus Attorney General is where you're going to see, this is where you're going to see your imperial laws. Now, this is where they have hidden God's law. God's law has been hidden deep, deep, deep within there. You'll always see Catherine SIXTUS in there. And so this is where they've hidden God's law, okay?
You can throw your rock and hide your hand, working in the dark against your fellow man. But as sure as God made black and white, what's done in the dark will be brought to the light. 'Cause you can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. But sooner or later, I'll cut you down. Sooner or later, I'll cut you down.
So then if you go to your imperial laws, which they've attached that to all of the Sentencing Act and the Parole Act, and then all of those other acts, if you look on this piece here, I don't think there's no Constitution Act, but you've got the Human Rights Act, you've got the Sentencing Act, you've got the Electoral Act, you've got the Parole Act. These are all acts. You've got the 1990 Bill of Rights Act, the Devil's Law. That's who's the guy that came and killed Jesus? Well, that's that one there. And then they've mixed all this, and you've got your Declaratory Judgments Act. They've mixed all this in with your imperial laws. Now you can, that they head away, you can go to your imperial laws, and what you'll see in your imperial laws is you'll see that other imperial, you go to your common law. And so if you go to your common law, it says that after the commencement of this act, including the common law of England, including the principles and rules of equity, so far as it was part of the laws of New Zealand, immediately before the commencement of this act, shall continue to be part of the laws of New Zealand. So this 1688 Bill of Rights presently continues to be part of the laws of New Zealand. And why is that? Because they can't ascend all of these without it. But you can see where they're going with this. They're going to ascend all of these devil's laws, right? And then what they're going to be doing at the very last minute, they're going to be dumping these imperial laws that have got all your protections under Almighty God. So that's what they're presently after doing. And then Kate Floss is rising up to stop them and saying, we're not going to allow you to remove God from us. We refuse to allow you to remove God. Now, the other imperial acts, that's what it says here. These are the other imperial acts and imperial subordinate legislation, not part of the laws of New Zealand. So it doesn't say imperial enactments that are not part of the laws of New Zealand. It says any subordinate laws made by the legislation in other countries are not part of the laws of New Zealand, but we still are part of the laws of New Zealand. Now, if you go to the Schedules 1, you'll see all of the laws that we have to use. And what you'll see there is this Bill of Rights 1688, and then there's God. Okay, there's God right there. You can see, and then this is called the Bill of Rights. New Zealand, it's called the BORNZ, and you'll see there that there is no act. It's not an act. It's the absolute almighty law. And if you go to the I won't go into it too much, the absolute almighty, well, maybe I will. If you go to the absolute almighty God law and you go to the preamble, it says it right there, that present unto their majesties, then called, hang on, I'll go down a bit. It says that whereas the said late King James II, having abdicated the government and the throne being thereby vacant, His Highness the Prince of Orange, whom it has pleased Almighty God to make the glorious instrument of delivering this kingdom from popery and arbitrary power. This is telling you right here, this is the only almighty law that's under Almighty God, and they cannot take it away from you, all right? And then if you go here to section 1, these are no dispensing of power, okay? But this section 1, which says that the pretended power of suspending laws or the execution of laws by a regal authority without consent of Parliament is illegal. Now, this comes down to these councils who are receiving monies, and they are acting in a regal authority by making regulations that are repugnant to what was given to them by the consent of Parliament. So this is the councils that are causing all the trouble. Now, you can actually go back to your 1688 Bill of Rights here, and there you'll see, let's see, or open in whole. If you open it in whole, you will see these are all of our rights in section 1 here. No dispensing of power, but this section 1 includes all of these rights right down as far as the freedom of speech, right? And these councils that have been stealing all of your money and giving it to various political movements that are disguising themselves as all sorts of entertainment industries, when in fact they're actually political movements disguised as entertainment industries, so that they can get the government money and get it dispensed from the government to use it for their nefarious political purposes. And so this is called levying of money for the use of the crown. It's for the use of us by a pretense of a prerogative for an other manner than the same has been granted. So they granted them the money for the use of the library, and then they went and used that money to hire political movements to come to the library to recruit our young people into their political movements. That's what they've used the money for, and that's why this money that these libraries are using, and also that the council are using to do their colourful crossings. They're making colourful crossings all across the town, which are illegal. Well, the library calling in the political entertainment groups, the entertainment groups which are political recruitment groups, which are in fact political recruitment groups, and then they're also giving, the councils are giving money to paint all sorts of colours across our cities and colourful crossings, so that they can also promote these entertainment industries that have actually turned into political recruitment movements. That is a levying of money, and that is illegal under our 1688 Bill of Rights.
News walk around with black clouds whenever you around. Only tragedy is found. I can tell by the look in your eyes. You think you're getting over. You got your feet up like karma doesn't see ya. But sooner or later you're gonna meet up with St. Peter. Don't fear the reaper, since he loves to destruct. Keep piling them deeds up and Satan's gonna greet ya. Hunted in the shadows, getting high from the gallows. You just run on the side, stay the judge's gavel. But when you reach the end, you're gonna face the retribution. All the dirt you're doing, you'll never get an absolution. Lying, cheating, and stealing, got no pity for victims. So when it just become, you know you won't be granted penance. And everybody here that you wrong is gonna witness.
So that you can see here, that's the Imperial Acts, okay, Section 1 and two more sections here. And Section 2 is a very important section because Section 2 says non-obstance made void. Non-obstance made void is quite a deceptive thing because when they say made void, it sounds like the whole thing's been made void, but actually non-obstance means that they are not allowed to change this law under any circumstances. Are they allowed to do anything that is repugnant to this law? And they have been working repugnantly to this law for a long, long time. And it's this non-obstant that they're trying to get rid of, okay? So they've done all that through these cases here, all right? And then if you go down to, so that's Taylor versus Attorney General, okay? I'll click through it at the end to show it to you. So you can go back to SIXTUS versus ARDERN, and then if you go to SIXTUS versus ARDERN here, and then there's SIXTUS versus ARDERN, where they put me on an out of time. Catherine Ann SIXTUS versus Jacinda Kate ARDERN, Chris Farfoy, Andrew Little, Ashley Bloomfield. Now look at the date when they gave me the out of time, which was the 26th of October. That was the oot. They gave me an out of time and they ooted me, all right? And when they ooted me, they attached me onto here. That's in the oot. And then this is where they put in the tax laws. Now, if you go through these cases, what you'll notice here is that all of these cases started from 2018 through to 2023, all right? So that's what all these cases are, and they've latched them all onto SIXTUS versus ARDERN. That's because I'm a very important person, and they needed my name, unfortunately, and they've attached themselves on to every single thing, every single law. They've attached them on to SIXTUS versus ARDERN with Jacinda Ardern and Catherine Ann SIXTUS, who we have been together for centuries and centuries, okay? Now, if you go back here to the last one, so remember that I told you in the SIXTUS versus ARDERN was the out of time, and they ooted me, okay, which was in October. But look here, this is Supreme Court, and in Supreme Court, they've added the Senior Courts Act and put in the Senior Courts Act, which will take you to, that will actually take you to, I don't know if I've got it here on section 74. In section 74 is the criteria for leave to appeal. I'm not going to read it all for you, but it basically says that if you use the Treaty of Waitangi in your first case, and if you lose your first case, you will get an automatic right of appeal into the Supreme Court, okay? Now, so this is a very important, so they've attached that to my moot. And in this case, they mooted me. They mooted me because they said, your case is out of time. It says here, your Court of Appeal case is no longer extant, having been abandoned. This application for leave in relation to that court's refusal to waive the filing fee is now moot. So they mooted me, and they said, therefore, Section 74 of the Senior Courts Act is irrelevant to you, and you can't have it, all right? So the funny thing is that they mooted me before they ooted me. They ooted me in October, right? They ooted me in October, but in the Supreme Court, they mooted me in July, many months. So I was mooted before I was ooted. Now that was a very lucky thing, because after I got, so that's just to let you know, if you go back to your 661, so you go to your 661, all right, and then you can go to your Attorney General versus Taylor, and you'll see all of the laws and legislation that you need here, which is the attempt to kill the will of Jesus. You'll see all of that there, right? And then if you go back to there, oh, sorry, I've done it wrong. Yes, if you go there, and then if you go up there, you'll also see Taylor versus Attorney General. If you go to Taylor versus Attorney General, that's where you're going to see your imperial laws, okay? And you'll be able to click on to your imperial laws and find your 1688. That's what they've been hiding from you, okay? And then if you go to, oh, I hope it's not going to go off. And then if you go to your SIXTUS versus ARDERN in the Court of Appeal, you'll find the oot. And if you go to Catherine and SIXTUS versus Jacinda Ardern, you'll find the moot. So that's the huge, it's the huge holy battle. There's a huge holy battle going on. It really does just come down to the New Zealand BORA or the BORNZ. So it's the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act, all right? The New Zealand Bill of Rights Act, or it is the Bill of Rights New Zealand, which is the law of Almighty God. So you're going to have to choose, New Zealand. You choose. You're either going to be under the Almighty and His protections, all right? But that means that you don't get to do anything that you want to do, that you're restricted in what you can do. You can't go around whacking people with the mirror and doing all these bad things. You can't go around teaching all your homosexual things to the children in the libraries. That's under Almighty God. God will still love you, but you know you've got to keep yourself in check. Or you can go under this New Zealand BORA, which is the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act, where basically the government can do anything they want to you, and they can agree to anything you want. They can agree to, you know, you're going to get all your homosexual laws that you want to have. You can have all those, but you know what? You also can have a government that they can give you rights and they can take rights away from you, because what they've given you is rights and duties over rights and privileges. Rights and privileges means that you're under the protection of Almighty God, under the BORNZ, and you can take that, and when those politicians or those councillors start taking your lands or taking your monies or working against you, the privilege, you have these rights, and under those rights you have the privilege of bringing them into the court, as I have done, and ascending them to the heavenly realm and going under the judgment of God. That's the will of Jesus working for you right there. Or you can have your New Zealand Bill of Rights Act, where they will, and that is under the rights and duties, where they say that you've got all these duties to do for the public, but guess what? You don't have the right to call them into the court and hold them to account under Almighty God in the judgment day. So they're coming to the judgment day of Kate Floss, and I've called them in. Now, as I told you here in the last case here, remember they mooted me before they ooted me. So this oot just recently came out in October, the out of time, and it actually works out well because I was able to ascend the heavenly realm again, and we are currently in the Supreme Court. We want everybody to give great prayers for the declaration that we've sought to protect our BORNZ, and we're waiting for the Crown Counsel, Jacinda Kate Ardern, I call it the Battle of Kates, Jacinda Kate Ardern, to file their submissions on Friday, the 12th of April, 2024. We're waiting for them. Now, they've called in, this is who they've set, the Supreme Court, this is two documents here. The one on the left, the Supreme Court have called in the respondents, the Court of Appeal Registrar, the Court of Appeal Judges, the High Court Registrar, and the High Court Judge. They've all been put on notice that they may or may not be called into the court. And then we're waiting for the council's submissions on the 12th of April. Now, if we get the council submissions on the 12th of April, then we've got the big waiting period. We want all your prayers. We want all your prayers to be coming out, because that is the time when the court's going to decide if they will allow this case to ascend in all its glory to the heavenly realm, or if they're going to strike me out again and they're going to say, Kate Floss, we're not letting you in the court. Now, I have sent a notice to them and I have asked them for an oral hearing, and I intend to make an oral account in defense of our BORNZ, our rights and our privileges against this devil is not even a law. It's not even a law because it's an act. It is this devil's harlot that has come into our lives, and we need to get it out. And so it's against that. So we're waiting for the 12th of April, and then after that, we will wait to see if the Supreme Court will allow us to get our declaration. We're seeking a declaration of right to say that our right is the Supreme Court law of New Zealand under Almighty God, and that we will always and forever be protected by that. So that's what we're waiting for. We're going to need a lot of prayers after the 12th of April. So remember, you can just Google in there, SIXTUS verse ARDERN. Okay, I always put that in because all this stuff comes in, and then scroll on down to all of my cases and go to 1161. When you get to 1161, okay, if you want to find any of your laws, you just whip on over there, and there you'll see all of the laws that you're looking for, all there in a nice tidy package. You don't need to go hunting around. And then if you scroll up here to Taylor versus Attorney General, okay, and then you scroll down there, you're going to see hidden and amongst all of that devil's law. Look, they've just absolutely, the devil is just absolutely surrounded Jesus. Jesus is surrounded, and they're about to insert the final sword into his side, and that's going to be the end. So I don't know. This is a great holy war going on in the courts. Okay, so then you can go to your imperial laws, which is going to go to your directly. You can just go to that's going to go directly to your 16.8, your imperial laws, and that's going to go, if you pop in here to your enactments here, and oops, wrong one there. If you go into your common law, no, I've got it wrong again. If you go into your enactments, and then you go to Schedule 1, right, that's going to give you your Bill of Rights right there. So they've made it hard for you, all right? So I'll just go through that one more time. You go to Arthur Taylor, go to your imperial laws, all right? And then from there, you can go to your Imperial Enactments there, and you go to Schedule 1. And then that's going to lead you to your 1688 Bill of Rights, okay? So that's going to lead you to all of that. Oh, and then by the way, that's also got the New Zealand Boundaries Act of 1863. Now we have to be careful here because I believe that they're trying to change the boundaries under Aotearoa, and they're going to give you a different boundary. So this is just safe right now, but I don't think it's going to be safe for much longer. So there's a lot at stake here. There really, really and truly is a lot at stake here, okay?
Cutting you down with the swiftness, and now you two people here gonna be the litmus. It was written.
For a long time, but sooner or later, gotta put you down. Sooner or later, gotta put you down. Go and tell that long-tongued liar. Go and tell the midnight rider. Tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell him the God's gonna cut him down. Tell him the God's gonna cut him down.
Oh.